Alright, this is Dr. Both. Welcome back to some Kerbal Space Program. Let's go resupply our Lovelace. Let's try it again with some solid fuel boosters. Take two. Asparagus staging, go! I know Cumin loves that mammoth, but I don't remember what this engine is called, but that 3.5 meter engine, the single one, it's so good. So, as I turn to head towards my next maneuver, we can look at exactly what it is I'm resupplying to Lovelace. So, there's pretty much no chance I'm going to be able to bring in enough liquid fuel to return home. It's kind of nuts. So, it is becoming my new lathe station. And what it has, like, I don't feel like we should focus on what it's missing. I think we should focus on what it has. And what it has is a lot of leftover xenon. So it's going to become a refueling station in the lathe system for xenon-based craft, which, in fairness, is a lot of stuff you want to fly all the way out to the far end of the solar system. So I'm bringing in even more xenon and monopropellant, which you pretty much need to run everything. I'm also bringing in a passenger tug that is ion engine powered. So potentially a really, really slow passenger tug, but being ion powered, it will be able to stay fueled out in that region of space for a long time. Plus, generally, if you're going to transport a mass out to the ass end of nowhere, xenon is the most amount of delta V for your mass budget. So hauling xenon all the way out there is the most efficient fuel to haul out there. Plus, the special effects engines that were attached to Lovelace were fueled on xenon, so Lovelace already has a pretty huge stockpile of xenon up there for station keeping and for use on anything that might want to dock with it. So between a huge pile of xenon and a huge pile of monopropellant, it should be pretty useful for future missions. I haven't decided if I'm going to come up with a way of bringing Kerbals home yet, but honestly, this ion tug might be able to do that too. I may just leave the Kerbals out there to man the station, though. So run into a couple problems, one of which is fuel, the other is communication. Um, Hopefully, at the very least, the communication problem gets solved when this thing gets close enough to some Joule satellites. It's got a bunch of network dishes on it. I'm not sure why it's having such a problem with this, but let's see what happens. Also, fuel. Turns out it's really hard to send stuff to Joule and Laythe. So the fuel delivery may not happen. Instead, we just may be delivering this ion tug. Alright, and with that, we have failed to deliver fuel to Lovelace. But we do have this ion-powered tug, which I had hoped to deliver fully fueled, but instead maybe we can just deliver a little bit. Go, Slug, go! Or, slow down, Slug, slow down! That's actually not unreasonable acceleration. I made sure to make this, like, as stupidly light as possible. Though I hadn't planned on doing long burns with it. So that's going to be a problem in terms of electric charge. Alright, I think this is not really going to work. It's time to abort and try again. Alright, take 3. Take 3 wiggles and does not take off. It gets pretty close, so some solid fuel boosters. Much better. So back to the Rhino for more efficiency in space. And I've just added more fuel to all the different launch and booster stages, kept them asparagus, and moved up to mainsails on the booster stages to compensate for the lack of thrust from the Rhino. Hopefully now I've finally got enough fuel in this thing to actually do the mission I want to do. And what is causing that? Because nothing should be providing any torque. I don't understand what's torquing. Okay, so this is going much better because I've still got a ton of fuel left in the Mammoth for this next bit. What the fuck? Okay, I can hopefully vaguely just get the fuck into orbit with something like this, because this is ridiculous. Yeah, I've turned off gimbal and I'm just going to use torque and RCS to steer because something is going badly wrong, I think, with the gimbaling on the SAS. Damn it, Rhino. All right, so compared to the first failed attempt, I have an extra kilometer per second of delta V left in the Poodle. So hopefully that's enough to make up the difference. So I'm going to burn here to correct my orbital plane with lathes to line that up. You notice I'm burning at the node that's far from lathe. I kind of stopped mid capture burn while I was caught in Joule, but not yet at a small orbit. Because the further I am away from Joule, the slower I'm moving, and therefore the cheaper that these plane correction burns are. So you see, I'm working at this node that's far from Joule rather than the other node that's close by. So I've accidentally done something pretty amazing here, which is I've kind of set myself up for a perfect gravitational slingshot. If I wasn't yet caught by Jewel, this would be a way of getting it done with almost no fuel usage. So you can see that the way I'm passing by Laythe, the gravity of Laythe is going to act to slow me down quite a lot. So if you compare the orbit that I was in before the encounter to the orbit that I'll be in after the encounter, you can see how much less energy there is involved, how much closer the apoapse is after I come out of this encounter. So this encounter is kind of gravity breaking me as I come in. That was not intentional. It's actually super hard to do. I just kind of got really lucky with this. So this should bode pretty well for me having enough fuel to get this done. All right, got my orbital plane lined up with Lovelace's, so I'm going to swing close by, end up in with something that has the correct plane, and then I just have to retrograde to get caught. Pretty happy with how this is going so far. Awesome. Successfully docked. Alright, let's transfer over a bunch of fuel and then ditch that extra stage. It's also probably worth mentioning at this point, there's basically nothing left in terms of liquid fuel on Lovelace. Everything remaining in terms of liquid fuel and a good chunk of the remaining oxidizer is in the spaceplane tanks, which of course I need for landing and returning from the surface. So yeah, very little fuel left in Lovelace's tanks, but let's not worry about that. Let's top up on monopropellant and xenon, which will be useful for these potentially future deep space missions that need a bit of refueling. Alright, with refueling done, it's time to ditch part of the refueling vehicle. So we will be leaving the Slug, our little ion-powered ferry, for small local trips in the area, since it runs on xenon, which we have tons of now up here. But we will be ditching the refueling and transfer piece of that stage. So all of those tanks attached to the end, attached to the Poodle engine, those are all going to go crash down onto the surface. Goodbye, Poodle. Goodbye, transfer stage. Alright, next time we finally have to actually land that space plane on Laythe, which will probably result in everyone's death. But if not, we'll have a nice, cozy space station to go back to. Alright, I'll see you next time.